The deep sea does not hide its secrets, it buries them alive. Down there, we found things that should never have been seen, and some of them still feel like warnings. Stay with me, because the worst one is waiting in the dark.
Number 12. The Bloop. For 1 minute, the Pacific made a sound too large to fit inside any animal you know. You hear it rise, fast and low, like pressure turning into a call. In 1997, NOAA hydrophones caught it in the South Pacific, west of the southern tip of South America. Those arrays were built for serious listening. Nuclear tests below the sea, Soviet submarines in the dark. Then the scale hits. The signal reached sensors over 5,000 kilometers apart. Its frequency profile looked biological enough to wake the oldest fear in your head, the fear that something huge was moving under you. Then NOAA pulled you colder. The likely source was Antarctic ice, cracking, shifting, tearing itself apart. Not a monster, a glacier, speaking almost like one.
Number 11. The barreleye fish. Its eyes are inside its skull, looking up through a clear, liquid-filled dome. You are not seeing a face. You are seeing the control room. This is Macropinna microstoma, a deep-sea fish first described in 1939, but not truly understood until MBARI filmed it alive in 2004 in Monterey Canyon and deep waters off California. Net-caught specimens often lost the dome, so the strangest part arrived damaged. In life, it hovers around 600 to 800 meters down, with 2 green barrel-shaped eyes that rotate upward to track silhouettes, then swing forward when it feeds. The dark marks on its face are not eyes at all, but smell organs. And below this living instrument, the ocean starts building faces with even darker purposes. Number 10. The black seadevil anglerfish. A single cold light hangs ahead of you, moving where sunlight has been dead for hours. Then the mouth appears behind it. The black seadevil anglerfish, also called the humpback anglerfish, is Melanocetus johnstonii, and it is smaller than your fear wants it to be. Females are usually only 9 to 18 centimeters long, but at 600 meters down in Monterey Canyon, that size stops comforting you. In 2014, the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute filmed one alive off California, a round black body with needle teeth folded around a glowing lure. That lure is the esca, hanging from a modified dorsal spine. It does not chase. It broadcasts a lie and waits for hunger to answer. Number 9. The hot tub of despair. Drop into it and the water itself turns against you. You are 1,000 meters down in the Gulf of Mexico, staring at the hot tub of despair, a hypersaline brine pool filmed by Ocean Exploration Trust and EV Nautilus in the 2010s. It sits in a seafloor depression like an underwater lake, with a visible shoreline where normal seawater stops and dense brine begins. That brine is warmer, starved of oxygen, and heavy with methane and hydrogen sulfide. Cross the line and animals can be stunned or may not survive. Crabs that had not survived marked the rim. Mussel beds clung near the edge, close enough to feed, far enough to survive. It looks like shelter. It is the ocean drawing a boundary in poison.
Number 8. The Dorado Outcrop Octopus Graveyard. 3,000 meters down off Costa Rica, the females are motionless, pale, and packed around egg clutches on black rock. It looks like a mass grave. In 2013, scientists on Dorado Outcrop found them beside warm hydrothermal springs. The species was Musoctopus robustus, later called the Dorado octopus. At first, the warm, low-oxygen water looked like a death trap. Then the real horror came into focus. The heat speeds embryo development, but it also strips away oxygen. The mothers brood for months without feeding, burning themselves down to keep the eggs alive. Later research showed this was not a grave. It was a deep-sea nursery, and the dead still clung to the rock. Number 7. The Galapagos Black Smoker Vents. You would expect lifeless rock at that depth. Instead, the seafloor was breathing fire in the dark. In 1977, DSV Alvin reached the Galapagos Rift in the eastern Pacific Ocean and found 18-meter mineral chimneys nearly 2,500 meters down. The vents blasted water hotter than 350 degrees Celsius, but the crushing pressure kept it from boiling. Black clouds of metal sulfides poured out like smoke from an underwater factory. Then came the life. Pale crabs moved through the glare, and giant tube worms rose beside the chimneys, packed with bacteria where a stomach should have been. The temperature was not the shock. The ecosystem was. You are looking at the moment biology rewrote its own rules, 2.5 kilometers below the sun.
Number 6. The Mariana Trench plastic bag. At 10,898 meters, the deepest point ever surveyed, the first man-made object on camera was a plastic bag. You are looking into Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, where pressure climbs past 1,000 atmospheres, about 16,000 pounds per square inch. In 2018, a Jamstack analysis logged a single-use bag in submersible imagery there. In 2019, Victor Vescovo descended in DSV limiting factor, and his cameras recorded a plastic bag and candy wrappers on the seafloor of Challenger Deep. Down where steel can buckle and light does not reach, the deepest place on Earth still carries human trash. The trench crushes submarines. It does not stop the bag. Number 5. The USS Johnston wreck. 6.5 kilometers down, a ship number still looks back at you. 557. This is the USS Johnston, a Fletcher-class destroyer sunk on October 25, 1944, at Samar while charging Japanese battleships and cruisers to protect escort carriers. 327 men were aboard. 186 never came home, and the survivors drifted for 50 hours in shark-infested water before rescue. The wreck was found in 2019, then surveyed in 2021 by Victor Vescovo's team aboard DSV limiting factor at about 6,456 meters or 21,180 feet. In the footage, the bow lies torn open, but 557 is still readable. The abyss kept the nameplate and the dead. Number 4. The K278 Komsomolets wreck. 800,000 times normal seawater. That was the cesium reading from one sample near a ventilation pipe on K278 Komsomolets in 2019. A Soviet nuclear submarine went down here on April 7, 1989, after fire tore through it in the Norwegian Sea. 69 sailors were aboard, 42 died. The wreck settled about 1,680 meters down, more than a mile under the surface, with a nuclear reactor and 2 nuclear-tipped torpedoes still inside. Later, submersible surveys traced the damaged hull and the pipework where corrosion keeps working in the dark. At that depth, you are not watching history. You are watching a tomb slowly rust around radioactive metal.
Number 3. The Titanic debris field. The first thing the cameras found was absence shaped like people, shoes on the seabed, clothing, luggage, dishes, personal objects scattered where a single ship was supposed to be. Ballard and Michel's team found Titanic on September 1, 1985, 3,800 meters down in the North Atlantic. You expect a wreck. Instead, you find a rupture. The bow and stern lie apart, separated by a debris field of lives interrupted in mid-motion. 1,517 people died here in April 1912. This is not a museum. It is a graveyard. Rusticles hang from the steel like frozen decay, built by iron-eating bacteria, including Halomonas titanici. The ocean is still digesting it.
Number 2. Hadal amphipods contaminated with PCBs. The poison is inside the animals. At depths where sunlight never arrives, you still find chemicals born in factories. In 2017, a Nature Ecology and Evolution study reported persistent organic pollutants in hadal amphipods from the Mariana Trench and the Kermadec Trench, including Hirondelia gigas. You are looking at life sampled from roughly 7,000 to 10,250 meters down, where pressure turns the seafloor into another world. Researchers tested their tissues and found PCBs, industrial chemicals associated with electrical equipment, and PBDES, chemicals associated with flame retardants. The likely route was slow and merciless, sinking remains, particles, and food webs dragging surface contamination into the trenches. The abyss did not hide from us. It ate what we sent down, and next, the ocean itself starts carrying the wound. Number 1. The Deepwater Horizon oil plume disaster. The oil did not simply rise. It formed a deep plume between 1,000 and 1,300 meters down, stretching 35 kilometers southwest through the Gulf and refusing the surface. Above it, Deepwater Horizon burned. On April 20, 2010, the mobile offshore drilling unit exploded at the Macondo prospect, over a wellhead about 1,500 meters underwater. 11 workers died. 2 days later, the rig sank into the same depth. Then the cameras went lower. ROV footage showed black crude erupting from the broken blowout preventer into open darkness. United States estimates put the discharge at about 4.9 million barrels. Researchers found contaminated sediments below. Then the quietest evidence. Deep sea corals lay coated in brown flocculent oil, still dying in 2012.